My name's Louise Dye. I'm a professor of psychology from the University of Leeds in the UK, and there we have a human appetite research unit, and in particular we focus on the impact of nutrition on health, well-being and cognitive function. So we call ourselves nutrition and behaviour, and particularly interested in how what we eat affects our performance at school and at work, how it affects our health, our well-being, our mental functions and our mood. So breakfast is really interesting for us because it's, in a way, the first thing you eat in the day. So the day before you have an overnight fast. It's the meal that should perk you up and get you ready for the demands of the day. And what we've looked at very carefully is whether breakfast versus no breakfast can have a beneficial effect. We know from lots and lots of literature that there are beneficial effects of eating breakfast for health and all kinds of other things. But in particular, does breakfast set you up for the day to cope with the mental demands, the cognitive demands of performing either at school or at work? So an awful lot of studies have looked at the difference between people who skip breakfast and people who eat breakfast regularly. And what we've shown in our systematic reviews that have been published in Frontiers and more recently in Advances in Nutrition is that there are strong associations between breakfast consumption and academic outcomes. As I talked about in my talk, there are problems with this because they are association studies rather than intervention studies, so they show associations, not a cause and effect relationship. But they do suggest that kids who eat breakfast at school do better in exams and in standard aptitude tests, especially later. An awful lot of the research has only been done in younger children. So looking at these association studies with academic outcomes is really important to tell us something about the way that breakfast could have a long-term benefit. That could be about nutrition. It could also be because giving kids breakfast at school encourages them to go to school. And that's really important too because lots of teachers argue that kids are going to school hungry. And that's increasingly the case. And being hungry, as I showed you in my slides, has a detrimental impact on performance in demanding cognitive situations. So breakfast is not really about enhancing performance during the morning, it's about preventing a decline that would normally happen in the absence of nutrition.